Hello guys, a very warm cordial welcome to all of you to this session. And I think in last sessions we have discussed chemical kinetics by taking some 5 parts, and we also told you that we will produce 6th part where the problems will be solved, isn't it? So but after some time we will produce that. So now we will start a new chapter in plus 2 chemistry, that is coordination compounds. This is the last chapter in part 1 chemistry, right? So take a title, coordination compounds. So first we will have some introduction. Why we need to study coordination compounds and where we will get these coordination compounds in real life. Okay, so we will give some examples to you, like I think you people know about hemoglobin. Generally we represent it by Hb, and you also know about chlorophyll, and you people know what is catalyst, and you people know dyes. Okay, so generally these are all coordination compounds. Okay, so these are all familiar to us. Take an example of hemoglobin. This is one of the coordination compounds. Okay, so hemoglobin, how it is important to us. So in human beings, we will inhale oxygen from the external atmosphere, and then the oxygen will reach lungs, right? So from lungs, hemoglobin will bind this oxygen and it will carry this oxygen to other parts of the body, right? So in this way hemoglobin helps to live, isn't it? So this is one of the coordination compound. And take chlorophyll. I think people know about chlorophyll. Generally these chlorophylls are present in leaves, green leaves, which helps for the process called photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis होने के लिए बहुत हेल्प करता है क्लोरोफिल. और उसके बाद कैटलिस्ट. Chemical kinetics. In chemical kinetics we have discussed what is catalyst, right? See, catalyst will accelerate the rate of reaction. I mean, catalyst will speed up the reaction. Okay, if some reaction is taking year or months to proceed, if you introduce proper catalyst, then the reaction will takes place in minutes, right? So in order to accelerate or speed up the reaction, we use catalyst. Generally many catalysts are made up are nothing but coordination compounds. Okay, then dyes. What are dyes? They are generally colored pigments. I think people every day we use some different colored cloths, right? So how the colors are exhibited in those cloths? Using dyes. They will use different dyes or different colored pigments, and they will embed that into cloth or fabric. Okay, so they generally most of the dyes are coordination compounds. Okay, so these are very much important. Though studying coordination compounds is important because they play a significant role in real life, like hemoglobin, chlorophyll, catalyst, dyes, and many others. But as far as now, I think this is enough. Okay, so now we will move towards the definition of coordination compound. So take the definition. See, what are coordination compounds? Those are class of substances with chemical structures in which a central metal atom is surrounded by group of atoms called ligands joined to it by chemical bonds. Okay, so in order to conserve the video size, I am writing definition and I am giving I am reducing the video size. Okay, so now let me explain by taking an example. Okay, so they have mentioned that these are the chemical structures. How the structures are, there will be some central metal atom, like metal atom. Okay, this metal atom is surrounded by group of atoms called ligands. Okay, surrounded by group of atoms called ligands. Okay, and these ligands are joined to central metal atom. It means central metal atom. These ligands are joined to central metal atom by some chemical bonds. Okay, some chemical bonds. These are coordination compounds. So let me have some simple example like FeCN hexa. Okay, hexa means 6 times 4 minus. Okay, this is an example of coordination compound. So how can I convince this by taking this as an example? See, this is a metal atom, iron is a metal atom, and this iron is surrounded by some group of atoms, that is Cn. There are 6 Cn. Okay, and they joined to this metal atom with some chemical bond. Okay, so and there is a charge 4 minus, and I will tell you what is this charge and all, just you understand the definition. Okay, so this is an example of coordination compound where it satisfies this definition. There is a metal atom, okay, at the central metal atom, and this metal atom is surrounded by group of atoms called ligands. These are known as ligands by some chemical bonds. Okay, but in this case the chemical bond is nothing but coordination bond. Coordination bond. Coordination bond means this atom will donate electron to central metal atom and they will form bond, that is known as coordination bond. Just to understand this. So now let us know about double salts. Okay, some up to 15 minutes you will not have any continuity. We will study some basics and then we will start real coordination compounds chapter. Okay, so now we understood definition of coordination compounds where there will be some central metal atom and around this there will be some group of atoms which are known as ligands, right? And I have taken example, that is FeCN hexa 4 minus. Okay, so in order to neutralize this 4 minus I can introduce 4 K4. Okay, so that this is also an coordination compound. Okay, see, potassium exists as K plus. Okay, so if I introduce 4 K plus, then this 4 minus will get cancels with this one, so that I can write the compound like this. The name of this compound is potassium ferrocyanide. Okay, so this is the name of this coordination compound. So now we will study double salts. Okay, in lower classes you people know single salts like sodium chloride is a single salt, potassium chloride is a single salt. What do we mean by single salt? In single salt we will be having one cation and one anion, that is Na plus cation, Cl minus anion, or K plus cation, Cl minus anion. Double salts means we have two cations and two anions. The best example I can give you is Morse salt. Morse salt. What is the molecular formula of Morse salt? That is ferrous sulfate FeSO4 dot ammonium sulfate, that is NH4 twice SO4 dot hexahydrate, that is 6H2. This is an example of Morse salt. So it is also an example of double salt. This is called as Morse salt. It is an example of double salt. How? See, here we will get Fe2 plus ions and SO4 2 minus ion. When we dissolve this in water, we will get Fe2 plus cations and SO4 2 minus anions. In the same way, we will get NH4 plus, that is ammonium ions, and SO4 2 minus ions, isn't it? So we are getting two cations and two anions. So these are known as double salts. Okay, so I think you people have idea about coordination compounds, that is this one, where central metal atom is surrounded by some group of atoms called as ligands, and you also know about double salts where we will have two cations and two anions, right? And we also know about single salts. Okay, in this case we are not discussing single salts. You remember only coordination compounds and double salts. Now our next topic will be comparison of coordination compounds with double salts. So take a title, that is comparison between coordination compounds and double salts. So let me compare this coordination compounds and double salts. I can say coordination compounds are the additional molecular compounds which retain their identity in both solid state as well as in liquid state or solution state. But double salts are also addition molecular compounds which retain their identity in solid state but not in solution state. Not in solution state. Take a definition, take a point, I will explain you. Okay, take an example of coordination compound first, that is potassium ferrocyanide, a general example of coordination compound. Okay, so a double salt, that is more salt. More salt is nothing but ferrous sulfate, ammonium sulfate dot hexahydride. Okay, so what they told is these are the additional molecular compounds. Yes, these coordination compound, how we got this? We added iron, potassium and cyanide and we got this. Okay, additional molecular compounds which retain their identity in both solid state as well as in solution state. Okay, solid state. In solid state we will get coordination compound like this. Okay, this has got some particular property. Okay, it has some identity. For example, a chalk piece has a identity of white color. In such a manner, this coordination compound has some identity of its own. Okay, when we dissolve this into aqueous solution, okay, when we dissolve this in water in order to make solution of it, okay, so what we will get? We get 4K plus FeCN hexa 4 minus. We will get products like this. In product side you can observe FeCN hexa 4 minus. Okay, actually this coordination compound is not completely dissociated. See, coordination compounds means a central metal atom surrounded with some group of atoms, ligands. So this is coordination compound. Okay, in product side also we have the same compound. So this coordination compound will not lose its identity even if we dissolve that in water or even in the solution state. Okay, but in case of double salts, see, this is solid state, more salt. Okay, so it has some particular identity of its own. So when we dissolve it in water or when we make this as an aqueous solution, what it will give? It will give Fe2 plus ions and it will give NH4 plus ions and it will also give SO4 2 minus ions and OH minus ions. Okay, so they will give separate ions when dissolved in water. So it loses its own property of more salt and it will show property of iron, that is ferrous ions, ammonium ions, sulfate ions and hydroxide ions. Okay, but in this case, even if we dissolve this coordination compound in water, this coordination compound will not lose its property. Okay, they will be in the combined state. I mean, the bond between these ligands and metal atom will be very strong. They will not dissociate with each other. They will be like this. So, they will not lose their property. So, this is the meaning of these 2 points. Okay. Okay. Now, we will discuss terms related to coordination compounds. Okay. What are the basic terms we get? So, first term what we need to study is the central metal atom. Central metal atom, take a title. Okay, so central metal atom means an atom or ion to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bound. Okay, so take an example, general example, that is potassium ferrocyanide. Okay, so I will take this example as a standard example for all the things. So in this case, okay, potassium ferrocyanide, that is K4FeCN hexa. Okay, you don't worry about this. Okay, you just worry about the things which are enclosed in this square bracket. So this is the coordination compound. Okay, central metal atom means an atom or ion. Okay, this is an atom or ion to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bound. See, in this case, actually Fe exists as Fe2 plus. It may be an atom like Fe, or it may be ion like Fe2 plus, to which fixed number of atoms or ions or groups are bound like Cn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So like this. So this is known as central metal atom. Okay. So you try to understand by making some picture of this. Okay. And I can give you some other examples like NiCl2, that is nickel, water 4 times. Okay. So here this Ni, central metal atom, Ni, and we have 2 Cl, 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 and we have 4 water molecules, H2O, 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 and H2O. This is known as central metal atom. Generally this exists as 2 plus. So central metal atom may be an atom or ion like this. Okay, to which a fixed number of ions or groups are bound. These are the groups or ions. Okay, Cn in this case, and in this case 2 chlorines and 4 water molecules. So this is known as central metal atom. Okay. So another thing you have to remember is the central metal atom may be, generally they are d block elements. Okay. The central metal atoms are generally central metal atoms are transition elements or inner transition elements. Transition elements means D block elements. Inner transition elements means F block elements. Okay, so in previous example we saw that iron belongs to D block, and nickel, we also saw nickel, that is nickel also belongs to D block, and there are some other examples where F block elements are there. So central metal atoms are generally D block or F block elements, and they are generally Lewis acids. Lewis, Lewis. Okay, central metal atoms are generally Lewis acids. So what is the definition of Lewis acids? Easily I can define any atom or group of atom or ion which accepts electron. Okay, which accepts electron are known as Lewis acid. See, in this case iron, we have 6 cyanide ions around this. So these cyanide ions will give 2 electrons each. Okay, all the cyanide ions will give 2 electrons to iron, and they will form bond. See, if we have 2 electrons, we will get one single bond. So where these electrons come from? From cyanide. Okay, these cyanide ions will give electrons to this metal. So this metal atom will accept these electrons and they will form bond. Okay, since metal atoms are accepting electrons from cyanides or from ligands, these are known as Lewis acids, because the definition of Lewis acid is the atom or ion which accepts electron. Okay, so in this case the central metal atom is accepting electron from ligands. So these metal atoms are generally Lewis acids. Then our next term is second term, that is ligands. Take a title, ligands. See, these are all generally electron donating, okay, electron donating species attached to central metal atom, okay. So for example, take same example, that is K4 FeCN hexa. This is an example of coordination compound. So ligands are nothing but these are known as ligands. Okay, so as I told you that these are the electron donating species attached to central metal atom. Take a diagram once again, that is Fe, Cn, 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 there are cyanides, Cn, Cn, okay. And I told you in earlier that these cyanides will give electrons to iron, isn't it? So these are all the electron donating species, ligands, attached to central metal atom, So these are all ligands, okay. And second point you can say is these ligands may be charged or neutral. What is charged or neutral? See, cyanide always exists as Cn minus. Okay, cyanide always exists as Cn minus. So since cyanide has negative charge on its apex on its top, okay, so this is a charged ligand. Or there are some ligands which are neutral, like water is also a ligand which is a neutral ligand, okay. And in central metal atom, when we are discussing central metal atom, I have given this example to you, that is NaCl2 dot water 4 times, okay. So here we have 2 chlorine and 4 water molecules, where water molecules are also ligands but they are neutral ligands, okay. So generally I can say ligands are electron donating species attached to central metal atom, and those ligands may be charged like cyanide ions, that is Cn minus, or neutral like water. So see, the charged ligands will give electrons to central metal atom easily, because this cyanide is rich with negative charge. That means this cyanide possesses 2 electrons on nitrogen atom, right. So this can give electrons to iron and this can make bond, right. So how these neutral atoms will donate electrons to central metal atom like nickel? See, if you study the water molecule properly, we have 2 lone pairs on oxygen atom, okay. So they will donate electrons on the oxygen atom to the central metal atom and they will form coordination bond with nickel, okay. So this is about the ligands. So in ligands we have different types. So ligands, they are generally electron donating species which may be charged or neutral. You are familiar with this now. The ligands may be classified into unidentate ligand, bidentate ligand, or another one is polydentate ligands. Next one is ambidentate ligands and chelate ligands. Last one, I think we will not discuss much about this, but take this chelating ligands. Okay, so we will study these 5 types of ligands, and then we will study coordination number, then coordination pair, then complex ion. Okay, so I think by next class we will study, in part 2 we will study these things. Okay, so till that you make a note of this. Okay, then after this we will study third one, that is coordination number. Then we discuss coordination sphere. Then we discuss cationic coordination sphere and anionic coordination sphere. Okay, so this composed of terms related to coordination compound, and the first thing what we discussed is central metal atom or ion, and the second thing we discussed is ligands, and in ligands we will type different types of ligands, and then we will study what is coordination number, and then we will study coordination sphere. In coordination sphere we will study what is cationic coordination sphere and anionic coordination sphere. Okay, so by next class we will discuss. So till that you revise this once. Okay, and I told you the general example of coordination compound, that is potassium ferrocyanate, and now as far as now we discussed what is the central metal atom and what are the ligands. Okay, we discussed these two, that's all. Then we will discuss the types of ligands, then we will discuss coordination number. Coordination number means how many bonds are there between these ligands and central metal atom, so that is known as coordination number. Then we will discuss coordination sphere. So this the thing which is enclosed in the square bracket is known as coordination sphere, that one we will study. Then we will study cationic coordination sphere and anionic coordination sphere. I mean, when we separate this sphere will get cationic charge or anionic charge. If it gets cationic charge, those spheres are known as coordination spheres, are known as cationic coordination sphere. If we are getting negative charge on this top, we will call that one as anionic coordination sphere. Okay, so that one we will discuss in deep in part 2 session. Okay, so till that you revise this once and have some idea with this. Okay, thank you.